start with the biggest story of the day, and that is the news that DeWanna Bonner is no longer with the Indiana Fever. It was reported last night that DeWanna Bonner had no intentions on returning to the Indiana Fever.
DeWanna Bonner just walked away from Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever in a shocking move that rocked the WNBA. But her attempt to push for a trade to a new team has completely blown up in her face. Now, she's being shut out by the entire league. She's lost millions, and her once strong reputation is in ruins. This is the story of how a respected veteran unraveled her own legacy in just a few weeks, and the swift fallout that came with it.
She said, "I want to sincerely thank the Indiana Fever for the opportunity to be part of the Fever franchise. Despite our shared goals and excitement heading into the season, I felt the fit did not work out, and I appreciate the organization's willingness to grant my request to move on, particularly at this point in my career. I wish the Fever great success as they continue to build around this dynamic group."
The news first came out through a polished corporate-style press release. The Indiana Fever stated they had honored DeWanna Bonner's request for a contract divorce. In her official comment, Bonner offered polite thanks to the organization and vaguely mentioned that, despite aligned goals, the fit just wasn't right. She wished the young roster well as they continued to grow. At first glance, it appeared to be a mutual, respectful separation, a clean professional break. But beneath that courteous veneer was a far messier and more turbulent reality.
If another team claims her off the waivers, she gets her full salary. She gets her full salary if another team claims her off the waivers.
Behind the polished language, a respected veteran was walking away from her team mid-season, unleashing chaos in a locker room, desperate for stability. This wasn't about a poor fit. It was a clear decision to abandon a group of young, impressionable players who had counted on her leadership, leaving them to face the overwhelming media spotlight surrounding Caitlyn Clark entirely on their own.
Thing that makes DeWanna Bonner look really, really bad. It makes DB look really, really bad. And it's the fact that she has told all other teams, other than the Mercury, don't sign her.
When a player's contract is ended in the WNBA, they go on waivers. That gives the league's 11 other teams 48 hours to claim the player and take on their full guaranteed salary. In this case, DeWanna Bonner's $200,000 for the season. For a three-time All-Star with championship pedigree, getting picked up should have been automatic. She was essentially a free veteran addition, a proven scorer who could boost a contender or mentor a young squad. The timer began, but when the 48 hours passed, the only response was silence across the league.
And look, I understand that's where she wants to go. Why didn't she go there in the summer? We know why, because she couldn't have got her max contract. And by the way, people are like, oh, they can give her the minimum. No, they can't. The Phoenix Mercury can give her a prorated $80,000 salary for the rest of the year. So she's only going to lose about 30K-ish.
Not one team submitted a claim. Every franchise in the WNBA assessed the situation and unanimously decided she wasn't worth the risk, even at no cost.
And she's only going to lose, she's going to lose about 40-50K, whereas they would have been only able to sign her earlier on. Well, they would only be able to sign her for nothing, because again, we can't forget as well, the Phoenix Mercury cut Sevgi Uzun. The Phoenix Mercury have a bunch of players signed on hardships and a bunch of players that they can cut. Like, they literally cap space magicked up. And as soon as cap space magics up for the the Phoenix Mercury,
that moment shattered any illusion of a mutual, respectful parting. It was a league-wide rejection, a glaring warning sign of how toxic her departure truly was. As the dust settled around her waiver status, details started leaking from behind the scenes. Bonner was allegedly pulling off a bold power move. According to insiders, she was directly contacting teams and urging them not to claim her off waivers. Her plan was to manipulate the system and steer herself to one destination, the Phoenix Mercury. The boldness of this strategy is staggering. We've seen top-tier stars like Jimmy Butler face major backlash for forcing exits. But here was Bonner, at 36, clearly in the latter stages of her career, acting as though she held MVP-level leverage. She wanted to dictate her next landing spot as if she were a free agent, conveniently ignoring that she had just walked out on a valid contract. She was trying to have it both ways, abandon her team, yet still control her future. But her master plan had one critical flaw, one that exposed the miscalculation at the heart of her gamble and turned her ideal landing spot into a looming disappointment. The Phoenix Mercury, the very team she had scorched bridges and alienated the league to join, were reportedly reluctant to bring her aboard. Sources revealed that Phoenix's front office had serious concerns about adding a player who had just showcased a blatant willingness to quit the moment adversity hit. The Mercury were riding high on the momentum of a young, hungry roster that had fully bought into the system and were exceeding expectations. Why risk unraveling that delicate chemistry for a veteran who had just proven she couldn't be relied on when it mattered? Bonner had left Indiana assuming Phoenix would welcome her with open arms, only to find the door wasn't nearly as open as she'd believed. The financial toll of this misstep was just as brutal as the damage to her credibility. By going unclaimed on waivers, DeWanna Bonner automatically lost the remainder of her guaranteed $200,000 contract with the Indiana Fever. When she finally signed with Phoenix, it was for a pro-rated veteran minimum contract for the rest of the season, bringing in roughly $80,000. The math tells the story. She willingly gave up over $120,000. This wasn't some calculated move. It was a disastrous, self-inflicted loss, driven by ego and an overestimation of her leverage. Her failed attempt to control the league's chessboard ended in a six-figure mistake, painting her as both selfish and deeply naive in the eyes of team executives and fans alike. But the consequences extended far beyond money and reputation. The real cost was felt by the person who needed her most, Caitlyn Clark. When Bonner joined the Fever, she was promoted as the seasoned leader who would help guide the rookie star through the overwhelming spotlight of her debut season. In early practices and preseason games, Clark looked genuinely eager to learn from her, working hard to build chemistry and soak up the veteran's wisdom. Instead of offering that support, Bonner sent a clear message to Caitlyn Clark and the entire young roster that when pressure builds and things get hard, it's perfectly acceptable to quit and walk away. It was a blatant act of professional abandonment. For one of the first times in her rising career, Caitlyn Clark was essentially told by a respected veteran that she didn't want to share the court with her. That's not leadership. It's a betrayal of trust that left the league's brightest star and her team reeling. And this brings us to the most disturbing and controversial question of all. Was this entire move planned from the beginning? The timing is simply too suspicious to ignore. Bonner originally signed a headline-making deal with Indiana, placing her directly in the media frenzy that surrounded Caitlyn Clark. For weeks, she enjoyed magazine features and packed arenas, reaping the rewards of the Caitlyn Clark effect. Then, almost to the exact moment Phoenix miraculously cleared enough salary cap to sign a veteran like her, Bonner suddenly claimed the Indiana situation wasn't the right fit. It all feels less like a snap decision and more like a calculated scheme. Use Indiana for the paycheck and spotlight, then bail the instant your ideal team becomes available. If that's true, this isn't just unprofessional. It's a cynical and deceptive way to treat a franchise, its players, and its fan base.
The Indiana Fever faced off against the Chicago Sky in a blowout victory.
And going in on the Chicago Sky.
They're not going to be pushed around anymore. Even in the midst of all the talk yesterday, you have a Sophie Cunningham, you have a Natasha Howard, and you have a DeWanna Bonner. There's a level of credibility. There's a level of toughness.
Caitlyn Clark, in the post-game interview, she made it a point to say, this is not please don't blow this out of proportion.
The entire WNBA seemed to freeze in time this weekend. The Indiana Fever had just secured a defining victory, but the real fireworks came when DeWanna Bonner grabbed the figurative mic and set social media ablaze, putting Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky firmly in their place.
She currently funked herself with Charlotte Webb after she shared a post last night of pretty much somebody congratulating her and going in on the Chicago Sky.
Right in the heart of the storm, Angel Reese was catching strays and sharp glances, while Caitlyn Clark soaked it all in with that trademark cool. Bonner wasn't holding back. She brought the sass, stirred the tea, and spilled it across the court with the kind of razor-sharp precision only a seasoned vet with receipts could pull off.
Angel Reese, part 32, let's get it! This ain't LeBron, this is butter pecan! Bang! They want to put her at point forward this season. They want her making plays, because she a playmaker! Bang! That Angel Reese hit a buzzer beater, you gotta check this out! 3, 2, 1, bang! Who cares they lost by 35 points? At least she got her 17 rebounds! Hey Ma, you got a receipt for this Barbie? I think this one's broken! Send it back!
What began as a standard post-game presser quickly spiraled into a full-blown roast session. And no, the Fever's win wasn't the grand finale, it was just the trailer. The real main event? Bonner calling out Reese and the Sky live and unfiltered. This wasn't just basketball, it was reality TV with a shot clock. And trust, the reruns are going to slap differently.
They make it a hate thing. Like, they make it a hate train. It's like, no. I'm telling you, if I was the coach or the owner, we forfeit in every game. Either we forfeit or Angel will not be in attendance.
Angel Reese fans is calling race, like they're sparking a race war on Twitter right now, and it's starting to get national attention. They're attacking white fans, black fans.
From the opening whistle, the energy in the arena was electric. The air crackled with anticipation, and the Fever stormed out like they were done listening to the doubters. Fast, fierce, and flawlessly precise.
For good position. Clark
Pulls, deep one, left wing.
Caitlyn Clark is her. Natasha Howard able to lay it in to Boston. Her jumper is good.
I think we have a group that's much like the Pacers. We've got a lot of great balance.
Still on the bounce. 3 seconds to go in the half. Caitlyn, left wing, off balance, 3. Got it! Caitlyn connects ahead of the halftime buzzer. She is 1 of 1.
Every touch of the ball sent a message. And Caitlyn Clark? She didn't just run the offense, she orchestrated a masterpiece. But the real plot twist? Indiana didn't just keep pace with the Sky, they controlled the narrative from start to finish. And DeWanna Bonner? She played like this game had been circled, starred, and marked with revenge in bold, all caps.
DeWanna Bonner, man, Indiana Fever on, became the 3rd all-time WNBA leading scorer in history.
Caitlyn Clark looks like she's going to be the MVP of the league. Angel Reese made a fool out of herself, and we won by 100, and I won. So we're back in the good mode, back in the winning. Yesterday was tough with the Celtics, but we're back, baby, and it all starts with who? CC, 22, Caitlyn Clark.
Angel Reese came in with her signature swagger. Big talk, bold moves. But this time, she ran into a different kind of heat. No noise, no theatrics. Just ruthless, ice-cold execution. Indiana shut her down like a rumor past its prime. Yeah, she got her double-double, but it felt more like filler than headline. This night belonged to the Fever, and you could feel the power shift in real time. Bonner and Clark didn't just clock in, they took over. And with every step, they sent a clear message to Angel in the Sky. This isn't your house.
She had as much passion for basketball as she did for her hate for Caitlyn Clark. Gonna get up, scream in her face. You know, you should be thanking her, because you would have missed another wide open layup. They say, but don't lie. Oh, she gonna cry. Wah, wah, bang! 35% from the field. Trash! She had 5 turnovers. Trash! There are living human beings that breathe, that enjoy this kind of basketball. To the psych ward you go! Burn! It's like driving by a car wreck. I can't help myself. I can't stop watching!
As the game went on, the spotlight didn't stay on Reese because she was dominating. It stayed because she was unraveling. That trademark confidence? It started to splinter. Every awkward drive, every missed chance chipped away at the shine. The fans saw it, her teammates felt it, and Bonner? She didn't just see the cracks, she thrived on them. She turned everyone into fuel.
Much like Donnie Carr, Angel Reese relies on the dramatics to generate attention. Because just like Donnie, she can't maintain attention based on skill. And the attention-seeking behavior, it started immediately yesterday as Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado decided that they were going to disrespect the country by refusing to come out for the national anthem. She immediately loses her temper. She could not believe Caitlyn Clark stole her moment. Angel Reese gets off the ground very slowly because everyone seems to be moving in slow motion in the WNBA.
The Angel Reese fan base is full of toxicity right now because they is extremely embarrassed that Angel Reese came to Indiana and laid a goose egg.
It stopped feeling like a game and started reading like a message board. The moment? Bonner ripping the ball from Reese like a pickpocket in Times Square. She glided in for the layup. No grin, no fist pump, just a stare that sliced through Reese like glass. Cold, clinical, legendary. Then came the post-game post, effortlessly flaunting her performance while lacing in a bit of digital shade for Reese and the crew. The timeline didn't just light up, it exploded.
Bonner, who knocks it away. Cookies, TV, open court, right side, and she lays it in.
Reese was left gathering the emotional fragments, no longer in control of the storyline. The spotlight had shifted off her box score and squarely onto Bonner's message. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement carved in bold. A veteran didn't just show up. She took the stage and marked her territory in permanent ink.
One more free throw for Bonner. It's in the air, and it's good. DeWanna Bonner now third in WNBA history in scoring. 7,489 points and counting. Lord, and here's the ovation for Bonner.
Reese strutted into the arena like she was writing the script. But from the jump, it was clear. This was a pressure cooker. Every touch brought bodies. Every dribble triggered traps. The Indiana crowd, ruthless. Bonner, even worse. There was no space, no flow, just unrelenting personal feud-level intensity. It felt like the Fever had one mission, erase her from her own highlight reel. Bonner didn't just defend, she composed the entire shutdown. And Clark? She was the calm conductor, dialing up plays while the sky looked like they were stuck in a time warp. What read like a matchup on paper turned into a live clinic in dominance. Reese fought back, snatching boards, chasing loose balls, clawing for momentum like a contestant on a rigged game show. But something was off, and everyone felt it.
DeWanna Bonner was brought in for leadership. She was brought in for leadership. And do you want to know all that these young players learn from her? If things don't go your way, refuse to show up. Continue to get paid a max contract while you are sitting out, refusing to play.
She got benched. She couldn't handle it. I want out. She's not playing well. She's getting criticized. I want out.
DeWanna Bonner? More like DeWanna bailout. After vanishing for 5 straight games under the vague excuse of personal reasons, it's now confirmed. DeWanna is officially out from the Indiana Fever. And the fans? They're not just upset, they feel blindsided. This isn't about numbers, reputation, or even veteran presence. It's the unanswered questions surrounding her exit that have Fever Nation in an uproar. She was meant to be the trusted leader next to Caitlyn Clark, the steady anchor during a championship push. Instead, she disappeared when the team needed her the most. But here's the twist. This might just turn out to be the best thing that's happened to the Fever all year.
When DeWanna signed with the team, she said at this point in her career, she's playing for championships and obviously have championship experience in those veterans they brought in. How much does that get to add to the culture or just what it takes to win at a high level?
Yeah, I mean, DB has been tremendous. Like, she's such a selfless leader. Like, she's here to win. She says that, but she really means it.
Back in the hope-filled offseason, Bonner was praised as the missing piece to Indiana's championship puzzle. Her resume boasted leadership, multiple All-Star selections, WNBA rings, and even at 37, she still had fuel in the tank. it wasn't just about scoring. She was brought in to deliver playoff composure to a rising young squad fresh off a first-round exit. Think back to last postseason. Caitlyn Clark and the Fever had energy but not enough veteran savvy to advance. That's where Bonner came in, to be the steady veteran presence. And early on, she owned the part, delivering hopeful interviews, preaching team unity, and welcoming her new teammates with open arms.
And also joining a team that's just impressive. I think everybody's seen the second half of their season, and it was an unbelievable season. And I just felt like they had a dynamic core, and I just wanted to be another puzzle piece into what they had. And hopefully I can give my knowledge, my leadership, and give it to, these young players. So when I retire, they can, pass it along. So I feel like they're young, but I also feel like they're a great young. They don't need too much coaching and too much leadership. They kind of figure it out themselves, and I'm just hoping that I can add to it and make basketball a little easier for them, and as well they can make it a little easier for me.
Fans were all in. They snapped up her jerseys, showered her with support, and embraced her arrival in Indy like a homecoming. Bonner looked genuinely energized to be back in the thick of meaningful basketball, especially in a city where WNBA games had suddenly become can't-miss events. Indianapolis had turned into the league's hottest destination, and Bonner seemed to be feeding off that electric vibe.
I guess to that point, how does this kind of compare to what you are used to?
Oh man, yeah, totally different atmosphere. The support here has been just phenomenal. I really can't go anywhere. I've been here like a week and a half, and everywhere I go, it's just like, we're excited for the season. Thank you for being here. So it's been really, really refreshing. And
you get that on the streets?
I'm sorry?
You get that on the streets?
Yeah, everywhere I go, it's just, can't even go to the grocery store without someone saying how excited they are. So it's just been really refreshing. That's exciting.
Even Clark, already carrying the weight of an entire league, looked genuinely thrilled to have Bonner by her side. Clark praised her as a real leader, someone who brought stability and wisdom to a team brimming with potential. And when Bonner climbed to third all-time in scoring during a dominant win over the Chicago Sky, everything felt like it was falling into place. But the high didn't last. Her scoring dipped to just 7 points per game, less than half of what she averaged last season. Suddenly, fans and analysts were asking tough questions. Did the Fever's free agency moves actually fit Clark's game? Did Stephanie White have a clear vision? Or was this just a case of throwing big names together and hoping it worked?
I don't know what Stephanie White's doing exactly. I don't have a clue. Again, I don't know what the identity of this team is. I really don't. It seems like they play a different way every game. One could say, well, that's her game plan. She's game planning for each team. How's that working out for you?
And then, just like that, Bonner was gone. After only 9 games, she vanished from the lineup. The reason? Personal. The timing? Suspicious. Clark had just come back from injury for a marquee matchup against New York, and Coach White had also recently missed time for personal reasons. So at first, fans gave Bonner the benefit of the doubt, but as more games passed and she stayed absent, the whispers grew louder. No statements, no injury status, no transparency, just radio silence. And silence, especially in sports, invites speculation.
How is she doing? Is there any timeline for her return?
Yeah, she's doing well. She's doing well. Again, no timeline. I think it's day to day, and for us to just make sure that we're continuing to be supportive of DB.
That's when the whispers exploded into full-on detective mode. Fans caught that she'd wiped Indiana Fever references from her Instagram. Rumors swirled that her jerseys had vanished from the team store. Others even said her image was quietly removed from the arena. Whether those things were true didn't really matter anymore. The silence from the organization only made things worse. It was like tossing gasoline on an already burning fire. Fans started piecing it all together, and spoiler alert, they were onto something.
Multiple league insiders are reporting to Annie Costabile, of course Annie Costabile is breaking this news, of Front Office Sports that DeWanna Bonner has quote-unquote no interest in returning to the Indiana Fever. Instead, wanting to be in landing spots with either the Phoenix Mercury or the Atlanta Dream.
Soon, credible outlets caught wind of the story. Bonner was out. Period. Naturally, all attention shifted to Coach White. Surely, with the cat out of the bag, she'd finally clear the air, right? Wrong. Her reaction? Absolute radio silence.
Obviously, there were reports today that DB isn't or doesn't intend to return to the team. Just what conversations have you had with her and with the front office about that?
Yeah, I had a lot of conversations recently, really been focused on the group that we have right here and what we need to do to position ourselves to win.
Same with Bonner's agent. Not a single word. And let's be real, if any of these reports were false, it wouldn't take more than one tweet to shut them down. But the silence? That spoke volumes.
No comment is a comment. No explanation is an explanation. If we were trying to get back, we would have said, oh, we're trying to get back. We're trying to work some things out behind the scenes so both parties are satisfied moving forward. We don't even get that.
And now, the story we were sold, that DeWanna Bonner came to mentor, to lead, to selflessly help this team evolve, has gone up in flames. Reports say the moment her role shrank, she mentally peaced out. No more vocal leader, no more sideline encouragement, no more guiding Clark through the spotlight storm. Instead, Bonner disappeared like a bad magician trick, leaving her teammates to handle the chaos alone.
Multiple sources tell front office sports the fit in Indiana was off in the beginning. Bonner, who was signed to be an anchor to win with championship experience for the team's young core, was expected to be a starter. So basically, she stunk it up, got benched for Alexi, and was pissed. It is what it is.
And look, we get it. No one wants to sit on the bench, especially a future Hall of Famer. But real leadership isn't about playing time or points. It's about showing up when it's not about you. And when Bonner was asked to take on a supporting role, she basically said, nah, I'm good. Instead of stepping into the role she was signed for, she walked away. And that's what stings. Right now, Indiana Fever fans are feeling burned. Think about it. They rolled out the red carpet for DeWanna Bonner, welcomed her as the cultural compass and mentor, someone who'd steer this young core and Caitlyn Clark toward a championship.
Like for real. I feel like I'm like in a little bit of a dream, but it's just super dope, super cool. I don't know if I ever seen myself on like this many billboards and pictures, so this is really good. Oh, now it's really real, huh? This is dope. Okay. I gotta get used to 2-5. This is my first time.
Something unexpected went down in Indiana, and it's shaking the WNBA to its core. No big press conferences, no spotlight, no orchestrated moments, just a quiet entrance that has the league scrambling to figure out what's next.
On the court, Bonner! Bangs it home. Bonner, the logo 3 at the shot clock. Mounting in the scheme.
Bonner makes her career best.
Bonner hits the 3.
Bonner launches over Zabely, got the 3.
DeWanna Bonner, two-time WNBA champion, future Hall of Famer, and one of the most respected vets in the game, made her way into Indiana without a hint of drama. No waiting around. And where did she go first? Right to the gym. Her work ethic is impeccable. She is exactly the type of player that the Indiana Fever needed.
Similar to what DB said about the competitive fire you all had, the moment you had in the playoffs last year, all those things. How do you think your competitive fire can mesh with hers?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you want. You want your teammates to be just as competitive as you are. So I think training camp's going to be really fun. That's when you're competing live. You know, you're getting after things. Coaches are figuring out what lineups work, what lineups don't. So I think it's more so like the drive of pushing your teammates to get better. And I think that's exactly what she speaks to when she talks about her leadership. Like, that's going to push all of us to get better when you can see a vet like that come in here and want to get better every single day still. And, you know, you're 12 plus whatever they are in their career. That's inspiring. That motivates you to want to be better too, but just exciting.
But waiting for her wasn't a coach, an agent, or a front office exec. It was no other than Caitlyn Clark. Clearly the main reason DeWanna joined the team, so she was excited to see her.
Thank you very much. That's what 6'5" would do for you. Pick up, rebound, Fagbinley. Futility from 3 for the Sparks. Over there, Fagbinley comes up with it. Here's Clark and Trent, leaves it behind for Bears just win at 5. They go threes.
Yeah, they do. Nice.
The rookie sensation, the once-in-a-generation talent, the player every team in the league has been scrambling to figure out.
South Carolina players in this game, by the way.
Sure do.
Tiffany Mitchell, Alicia Gray.
South Carolina players in this game, Tiffany Mitchell, Alicia Gray, and the big question lingering? Why? Why would a battle-tested veteran skip the usual welcome parties to hit the gym with a rookie? This wasn't just a workout. This was a message to let everyone in the league know that they are coming prepared for the new upcoming season. And if you think this is just another off-season move, brace yourself for a rude awakening. The Indiana Fever has something big planned up their sleeve. The WNBA is on the verge of a major shift, and the Indiana Fever is right in the middle of it. This season is just getting started, and you won't want to miss a single moment.
What's up, Fever fans? DB here. So happy to be here, so excited. I'll see you guys in May.
No welcome parade, no PR stunt, no fluff. DeWanna Bonner didn't come to Indiana for the media circus. She came for one thing: business. A two-time WNBA champion, a future Hall of Famer, and one of the game's most respected veterans. But instead of basking in the spotlight or making a dramatic entrance, she went straight to the gym.
I'm just happy that I can still be a part of it. I'm happy that I'm still wanted, in different organizations and have the free agency that I had. And I'm coming to probably one of the best fan bases in the world right now, so I'm pretty honored to.
No cameras, no distractions, just pure focus. That's not a casual arrival. That's a message. When a player of Bonner's caliber bypasses the theatrics and heads straight to work, it's clear she's got unfinished business. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Bonner isn't stepping into Indiana as the face of the franchise. She's not here to demand the ball, dominate games, or make a statement. She's taking on a role most superstars would avoid, a supporting piece to an already budding young core.
I'm coming to probably one of the best fan bases in the world right now.
That's almost unheard of in professional basketball, where ego usually collides with team chemistry. But for Bonner, this isn't about status, it's about strategy. She sees something special in this Indiana squad, and she knows exactly how to take it to the next level.
The way they came back the second game, it just makes you excited to, okay, I want to be a part of that. They didn't lay down and quit. They came back and actually tried to beat us early, that next game. So it just shows a lot about their character and how hungry they are. And
her first move in a Fever uniform made one thing obvious. She's here to win, and she's not wasting a second. She's linking up with the player poised to redefine the league, Caitlyn Clark. This isn't just mentorship, it's about building chemistry, trust, and ensuring Indiana isn't just competitive, but dominant.
Time and his third, currently 5 catchings for second.
Time and again, Bonner's message is simple. Clark doesn't need someone to shape her. She's already built for this moment. That's what makes this move so dangerous for the rest of the WNBA. Because if you thought Bonner was just here to mentor Clark, think again. She's here to partner up, to sharpen her, to elevate her, and if that playoff battle was any sign, These two aren't just going to coexist, they're going to dominate. Let's be real. DeWanna Bonner could have gone anywhere. Teams lined up, contenders made their pitches. She had the leverage to choose a championship-ready roster. But she chose Indiana, a team still finding its stride, a franchise that, just a couple years ago, was an afterthought in the playoff hunt. That's not just a decision, that's a statement. A player of her caliber doesn't make a move like this unless she sees something the rest of the world hasn't caught on to yet.
I mean, just a hell of a job, y'all. That was a big win. Okay? That was a big win. We stacked the deck.
And it was a great team effort to beat DeWanna Bonner in her return to Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Had to feel great for the fans there to see her vanquished and not playing well, and Alyssa Thomas complaining all over the floor. Bonner booed in her return.
Basketball karma hit hard when DeWanna Bonner returned to Indy after quitting the Fever mid-season. She was booed, held to just 4 points, and watched her replacement, Ari McDonald, explode for 27 in a 107 to 101 Fever win without Caitlyn Clark. To top it off, Bonner's fiancée, Alyssa Thomas, taunted fans just before the Mercury got cooked. Turns out, karma doesn't miss.
We got to celebrate beating down DeWanna the Scammer Bonner. Cheers, my friend. Cheers, buddy. DeWanna Bonner, I just want to start here. You stink. You stunk it up. You caused all that ruckus. I thought you stopped shooting threes hitting the side of the backboard when you took the Indiana Fever jersey off.
DeWanna Bonner's return to Gainbridge Fieldhouse was no ordinary road game. It was a reckoning. After quitting on the Fever mid-season, fans let her have it with relentless boos and chants of quitter every time she touched the ball. The hostility was raw, personal, and impossible to ignore.
Foul on Sophie Cunningham. That is her first team second. Coming in from Barton Phoenix, number 14.
Even from the bench, sidelined with a groin injury, she cheered wildly as her teammates shut down DeWanna Bonner, especially after a blocked shot and shot clock violation. Her celebration said it all. This team was united, and Bonner's exit clearly still stung.
Bonner battling with Hall. Bonner turns, fades, fires, and leads it way short. Great defense there by Hall. Copper tracks it down and bounces for Bonner, who had her shot blocked. And it's a shot clock violation. Bonner walled off by Hall. And then blocked at the rim. Indiana has that 5-point lead in third.
Alyssa Thomas didn't just sit quietly. She taunted Fever fans all game, even telling them Bonner had joined a real team. But her trash talk backfired fast, as the scoreboard flipped against them. What she thought was a power move turned into a public flop. As Alyssa Thomas ramped up her taunts, trying to shield Bonner from the boos, the night unraveled perfectly for Fever fans. Bonner scored just 4 points, grabbed 1 rebound, and watched her real team fall apart. The karma was swift, and the Fever weren't just winning, they were sending a message: quit on us, and we'll make sure you regret it.
Bonner booed in her return, which is to be expected, considering the circumstances in which she left. And the players that have come in for the Fever are much better than Bonner was for them. Ari McDonald has been a revelation. She was great in this one again. And Chloe Bibby looks like a perfect fit. So all in all, Fever fans have to feel pretty damn good about that win.
With Caitlyn Clark out, critics expected the Fever to crumble. But Ari McDonald had other plans. Once overlooked, McDonald seized the spotlight, proving Bonner's exit was a blessing in disguise. The former Arizona star wasn't just filling in, she was rewriting the script. Aari McDonald dropped a career-high 27 points, hitting all 10 free throws and playing with fire. She attacked the rim, dished out 4 assists, and brought the grit Bonner never showed in Indy. Phoenix simply couldn't keep up with her speed or heart.
When did you realize you had it kind of going tonight, and what kind of opened up for you? It felt like you were scoring kind of from basically everywhere.
When I seen those 2 threes go in, then I saw how easy it was, like getting into the paint. I'm like, okay, I'm converting. All right, I'm good. Like, let's keep being aggressive, or just keep taking what the defense is giving me.
McDonald had help. Chloe Bibby, on just a 7-day contract, stepped up with 10 key points, sharp shooting, and even snagged a steal. She made every minute count and proved she belonged.
Indiana trailing by 9, trying to pick up the pace here, and Chloe Bibby hits a 3.
Her in transition. Chloe Bibby's done this a million times in her time at Maryland and in practice.
Sophie Cunningham nailed a clutch 4-point play and totaled 12, while Damiris Dantas added another 12 off the bench, capping it with a slick dream shake that left Alyssa Thomas in the dust.
Mitchell, she's got the 5 fouls. Boston, Cunningham. Yes! And a foul! Sophie Cunningham! Give her 3, and she'll go for 4. Dantas battling, spins, fades, fires, and hits. Bibby, corner 3. Oh, yeah! Cunningham. Yes!
The irony? McDonald and Bibby were signed using the cap space freed by Bonner's exit. Instead of folding without Clark, the Fever found players who actually wanted to be there. Fighters, not fillers. Their chemistry and hustle overwhelmed Phoenix. And just when the Mercury thought they still had a shot, Aaliyah Boston stepped in to crush that hope.
You gotta continue to step, okay? We ain't got no room for sliding back, okay? We no room for slippage. Every day, there's a sense of urgency, okay? I was proud of you guys, the way it was offensive and defensive substitutions, being ready to go with that. Everybody who came in made an impact. We had 5 in double figures, damn near 7. Damn near 7. That's really, really good. Y'all, I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of you. Together, 3, 1, 2, 3, together!
With the game still close in the 4th, Aaliyah Boston took over. Already solid with 22 and 12, she exploded for 17 in the final quarter, including a solo 10-0 run that buried the Mercury. This was her moment, and she made sure Phoenix never had a chance.
So too has Aari McDonald, who did not start the season with the Fever, but has really come on strong. Pass inside, it's a bullet. More contact there underneath. Ball hits the ground. Austin has a size advantage here. Wants the clear out, gets the clear out, gets inside, and pushes it home.
Every bucket from Boston was a message. The Fever were more than just Caitlyn Clark. She bullied her way to the line, hitting 10 of 13 free throws, finishing through contact, and punishing every Mercury misstep. This was championship energy.
Teams have now erased double-digit deficits. 9:30 to decide a winner. Howard inside, Boston, deep position.
Wow.
Dangerous pass there by McDonald, rescued by Howard. Howard trots inside, left hand off the mark. Boston pulls it down and lays it in. McDonald has just had that look in her eyes here tonight, but it's Boston taking over in the 4th.
No answer.
Boston's dominance in the paint left the Mercury scrambling. They couldn't stop her footwork, her shot creation, or her control of the game. With her 4th straight double-double, a career best, she proved she's no longer just a top pick. She's the franchise anchor, stepping up exactly when it matters most.
Nate Tibbetts.
Only 15 three-point attempts and 6 makes for Phoenix from outside the line.
Boston, step through, lays it in. You can't stop her.
Powers in the paint.
We're still playing without Kelsey Mitchell. She's got the 5 fouls. Boston, Cunningham. Yes! And a foul! Sophie Cunningham!
Gainbridge Fieldhouse erupted with every Aaliyah Boston bucket, the crowd feeding off her dominance in a playoff-like atmosphere. Her fourth quarter surge sealed the 107-101 win, proving the Fever could thrive without Clark. But the drama didn't end at the buzzer. In the postgame, Mercury star Kayla Copper slammed Fever fans for booing Bonner, calling it disrespectful. Her defense of a player who quit mid-season? Tone deaf at best.
I think she handled it well. I don't understand, like, she's a legend, and just all the things that she's done for the league, and just the disrespect, I can't get down with it. They booed her. She didn't say a word to the crowd. People talk some trash to her, but we had her back. But it's just very distasteful for what their fan base is doing. As far as when it comes to DB, because it's just like she's just the sweetest soul, and the situation didn't work for her, and that's just not what she wanted or whatever. But it's just, we don't need all of that. It's just unnecessary.
The Fever took the high road. Coach Stephanie White kept the focus on her team's performance, gracefully acknowledging the Bonner situation without fueling the drama. It was a masterclass in professionalism.
You talked a little bit about being happy for DeWanna Bonner, finding a good spot for her. What was your overall thoughts on having her there in the reception tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about the reception. I don't hear anything once I'm out on the floor, but it's weird seeing her on the other side. But at the end of the day, basketball is basketball and relationships are relationships.
Aaliyah Boston nailed it with one line. Honestly, that got nothing to do with me. She brushed off the Bonner drama and kept the spotlight on the win, showing the poise and focus of a true championship leader.
What was it like having DeWanna Bonner return to Indiana, and what were your thoughts on the fan reception tonight?
Honestly, that got nothing to do with me. I think DB returned because we were playing Phoenix, and so that happened to be that. The fans chose to do what they wanted to do, but for us it's about paying attention to what we have to do here, and that was coming in and getting a big win, which we were able to do.
The Fever's calm, mature responses made Copper's complaints look small, exposing a clear cultural gap between the two teams. While Mercury players whined, Indiana kept winning, marking their third straight victory and climbing to 6th in the standings at 15-12. This wasn't just about Clark anymore. The Fever proved they had depth, chemistry, and real playoff potential. Bonner left for something better and got humbled by the very team she ditched. Karma served courtside.
People in the Fever were like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit going on around there.
It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
Remember when Cheryl Swoops said this? DeWanna Bonner has finally broken her 6-month Twitter silence. But she didn't just drop a casual, "Hey, I'm back" tweet. Oh no, she made a statement so bold, it rattled the entire WNBA. Not only is she officially joining the Indiana Fever, but she's also dismantling one of the league's most worn-out, unfounded narratives. The claim that Caitlyn Clark and Indiana Fever fans are toxic. That narrative? Gone. Destroyed.
This WNBA offseason killed a lot of narratives, right? It really did. And I hope they're gone for good. And I hope we spend so much less time discussing nonsense. But I think we've seen it stamped out this offseason. And one of those narratives was people wouldn't want to go to the Fever because of the Fever fan base.
You might be thinking, hold up, isn't this the team everyone loves to hate? The one players are supposedly dodging? Well, Bonner's not here for that. She saw the nonsense coming from supposed legend Cheryl Swoops, the never-ending social media drama, and the same old tired talking points. Instead of staying silent, she's stepping up to set the record straight.
To all the crazy people on social media calling her every name under the sun because she chose to play in Indiana. These are the same people that are like, oh, she'll never play in Indiana for obvious reasons. And she went and defended the Indiana fans and was like, talking about, she was basically like talking positively about the fans that were interacting with her positively, and was responding to one of the crazy posts about her being like, I'm getting screenshots of things you were saying about me. Can you just stop?
Picture this. Bonner casually scrolling through her phone, likely enjoying a peaceful moment when she comes across yet another wave of misinformation, fans wondering why she'd join Indiana, analysts still holding on to the outdated belief that no one wants to play for the Fever. Instead of brushing it off, Bonner did something way more impactful.
It goes to show you that I think hopefully all that stuff has been put in the rear view, and of course Bonner is a pro.
She didn't just respond, she shut it down with one flawlessly crafted tweet. It wasn't just about defending herself, she went all in for Indiana Fever fans. She basically said, "Y'all are loud, passionate, and real. That's not toxic. That's what true fandom looks like." And just like that, the conversation was over.
I don't get on here often because this app is insanely too much sometimes. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for all the love I've received so far. Deaf, not unnoticed. The love is real.
But she didn't stop there. Bonner called out the hypocrisy, shining a light on the double standard and how fan bases are treated differently. Why is it that when fans from other teams show passion, it's called support? But when Indiana Fever fans do the same, it's suddenly an issue? And why is it that when the Fever start winning and getting national attention, all of a sudden, the haters have a problem with the fans? Bonner wasn't just making a personal statement, she was calling out the league-wide bias that shadowed Indiana ever since Caitlyn Clark stepped in.
She's gone online for 2 times. One is to call out the crazy people attacking her right now because she joined the Fever.
This isn't just about fan reactions, it's about respect. Something Indiana Fever fans and players have been denied for way too long. And Bonner? She's done letting the lies slide. What makes this even more powerful is that Bonner isn't some young player chasing attention. She's a legend, a multi-time WNBA champion, and one of the most respected figures in the game. When she speaks, the entire league pays attention. This isn't just another player venting on social media. This is a seasoned veteran, someone who's lived through different eras of WNBA history, stepping up to call out the nonsense and stand up for her new team.
You know, Fever fans are probably starving for that. And I think seeing the validation of the players choosing their team.
Bonner made it crystal clear. Indiana isn't some struggling franchise just trying to stay afloat. With Caitlyn Clark at the helm, the Fever are building something special. They're not just aiming to be competitive. They're coming for the top teams in the league, and Bonner is all in on that mission. She's not just joining Indiana, she's becoming part of a movement.
And it's funny because if you're seeing like DeWanna Bonner, if you're seeing like Natasha Howard, on social media, Natasha Howard's posts are getting 100 times more likes, and DeWanna Bonner's being reacted more positively probably than she ever has been in her career.
And the best part? The response to her tweet has been huge. Indiana Fever fans are backing her like never before. And the same people who swore nobody wanted to play for Indiana, they're all of a sudden silent. Cheryl Swoops? Nowhere to be found.
What it do, peeps? Cheryl Swoops is been missing. Cheryl Swoops is MIA. They got a APB out for Cheryl Swoops. If you see Cheryl Swoops, she did a lot of talking a few months ago about the Indiana Fever, the locker room environment, how people didn't want to play there, how people wanted to leave.
Now, all that's left is to watch the haters scramble to rewrite history. They'll act like they never claimed Indiana wasn't a desirable team. They'll pretend they weren't downplaying Caitlyn Clark's impact. But at this point, it's too late. The Indiana Fever have already won the battle off the court, and now they're gearing up to take it to the court too.
That thank you from DeWanna Bonner, be an olive branch to us all, to focus on the basketball. But I did think it was worth sharing simply because I know a lot of those fans, the new fans, felt rejected and beaten down a lot. And I think this is symbolic.
DeWanna Bonner, Caitlyn Clark, and the Fever aren't just putting together a team. They're rewriting the future of the WNBA. And if the rest of the league isn't paying attention yet, they'll be forced to soon. You've probably heard all the noise about the Indiana Fever fan base, right? The narrative that their fans are supposedly toxic or too intense, and that players are supposedly dodging the team because of it. Well, let's be real here. That storyline fell apart quicker than a bad defensive rotation. And you know who kicked this whole mess off? Alyssa Thomas? Yep, Bonner's own wife was out here stirring the pot, claiming that Fever fans were so unbearable, players wanted nothing to do with Indiana.
In my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base. We had her face on a serious matter that happened in this world, and it's unacceptable, honestly. And there's no place for it, and we've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media.
Here's the plot twist. Despite all that noise, star players aren't running from the Fever. They're running toward them. DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, and Sydney Colson didn't just sign with the team. They embraced it. These aren't just role players looking for minutes on a struggling franchise. These are battle-tested veterans and high-impact stars who saw all the headlines about a so-called bad fan base and still said, yeah, I want to be part of that.
No argument that the Fever are a great basketball destination, that Caitlyn Clark is a great basketball.
Let's talk numbers, because, as always, they don't lie. Indiana Fever fan engagement is off the charts. We're talking sold-out arenas, merchandise flying off the shelves, and social media interaction hitting record highs. This isn't some struggling franchise barely hanging on. This is a team that's become the pulse of the WNBA, and at the heart of it all is Caitlyn Clark. She's not just attracting new fans, she's turning casual viewers into die-hard supporters.
The Fever fan base, being painted with this broad brushstroke, was always just stupid, really. There's no other word for it, because Caitlyn Clark brought more fans to the league than it's ever seen. So many of them are Fever fans, and the new fans that come in outnumber the old fans that were already there. You don't want to tell those people they're unwelcome.
Think about how absurd this all sounds. Just a few years ago, Indiana was written off as an afterthought in the WNBA. Now, they're the hottest ticket in town. It's like judging an entire restaurant off one bad Yelp review. It just doesn't make sense. The reality is, every team's got a few bad apples in their fan base. That's just sports. But to act like Indiana's supporters are some kind of exception, that's just reaching. So what's really going on here? Why are people so quick to attack Fever fans? The answer's simple. Because Indiana is winning. Not just on the court, but in the fight for relevance, attention, and influence. They're no longer an afterthought, and that makes some people uneasy. Instead of acknowledging that Indiana Fever fans are the heart of something special, the haters would rather push this weird, baseless narrative that players don't want to play there.
And a lot of fans, I think, felt unwelcome as a result of that, because when you look at every sport and every fan base, there are going to be bad apples. With every group of people, there are. And the larger that group becomes, of course, then the larger the small percentage of bad apples are. But if you've ever followed sports, you see people acting stupid online or even live at games.
And yet, reality paints a different picture. If Indiana Fever fans were really that bad, why are top-tier players lining up to sign contracts? Would DeWanna Bonner, a multi-time champion, choose to finish her career in a place where she felt unwanted? Would Natasha Howard, a former Defensive Player of the Year, commit to a team with a toxic culture? The answer is clear. These players see something the haters refuse to admit. The WNBA landscape is shifting, and Indiana is right at the center of it. Just a year ago, people laughed at the idea of the Fever being a desirable destination. Now, they're scrambling to figure out how everything changed so fast. Caitlyn Clark isn't just a generational talent. She's a headline magnet, a sellout machine, and the kind of player who makes a franchise relevant overnight.